All right, awesome. So we are live. Hello, Christina. How are you today?
Hey, it's so good to see you again. So good
I
to be here.
know. It's been months or
A
years since
year,
we've seen each
probably.
other in
Yeah.
person. Yeah. So Christina and I met last year, I think it was, at a conference that we were both at, and she has a wealth of knowledge in the PR industry. And why I wanted to bring her on as an expert today for our Facebook live chat number 23. I think by the time we're done, I have about five or six tomorrow, and five or six on Friday.
Yeah.
We'll be over 30 some, and we may just keep them going. But I wanted to run a promotion for 3 weeks in doing this, where anyone who shared, the majority of the videos would be able to win a free membership to Lead Up for Women, so that they could come into our community. And I also wanted to take the opportunity to not only bring these light leaders like you, Christina, forward, but also give my members the opportunity to have another platform for them to educate, inspire, and motivate. And right now, that's what we really need to be doing from our heart. And I'd like to introduce Christina Davies. Is it Daves or Davies?
Dave's.
Daves to all of our community right now, because she has a very interesting story, which I'll have you touch on very quickly as we get through this, and then talk a little bit about how you've been able to work with your clients right now in helping them. I watched one of your webinars that you did about how we could use COVID-19, in our discussions and our tags and in our hashtags to be able to kind of like I don't know what the word was that he used, but kind of jump on to what's happening in the world and utilize the opportunity for what we're doing for good for the newscasters to be able to find us very easily with how we're marketing ourselves. So if maybe you can talk a little bit about you and how you've been helping your clients.
Yeah. So that's right now is such an important time to provide value. And there are two people. There are the ones, and I know both of them. They're the ones who are running and hiding under rocks
Mm-hmm.
and saying, "Oh, I'll just come out when this is over." And then there are ones like you. This is amazing to do this many Facebook lives, and you're providing value. And I'm guessing you're not selling. And we're all in business, so there's nothing wrong with running your business. People have to understand that if we go out of business, the
Yeah.
disease is one. We're trying to save American business, but that being said, it's more of providing value and information and helping people so that when we do come out of this, you're somebody that people are going to remember.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
she gave me
actually did really good, in March, luckily. And I really thank God for helping guide me to build this, because we had 10 members sign up, in March during all of this happening. And it's because of our virtual platforms. And by just giving
yeah.
so many people opportunity to be able to continue marketing themselves without having to physically be in a room or network at a conference or physically be on a stage. I have huge platforms that I've built over the last year and a half with the magazine and the podcast and everything, that we're able to still give women the exposure they need, because we still need resources. And we're still, like, life is still going, right?
Right.
We're still building our businesses, and some are
Right.
building new businesses.
Right. I was going to say, and everyone's pivoting.
Hmm.
When we met, I'm a speaker. That's how I generate my revenue. I'm paid to speak, or I sell from the stage, or I get clients. When I'm speaking, people say, "Oh, I want to learn how to do this." And guess what? There's no conferences. Thank goodness I still have some at 2021. But so it was an instant, oh, I've got to go back to digital. And thank goodness I have experience in digital, but I had done a complete shift to live events, and now I'm shifting right back. Uh, but it's important now, the opportunity to get in the media. I can't tell you how many of my clients in the last 2 weeks. It's explosive. By knowing good stories to pitch. What you talked about was the newsjacking interview I did.
Newsjacking. That was
Newsjacking.
it. Yeah.
And so it's where you take what's going on in the news and you find peripheral stories and you pitch those. Well, obviously, right now, COVID-19 is it. I mean, that's it. The journalists are basically like, I can't believe you're going to pitch me anything else. And this is for, television journalists, things like that. If you're looking at magazines, like O Magazine is not going to have 500 or 300 pages of COVID-19 next month. They're just not. So depending on what it is you talk about and what you do, but if you're pitching television, local newspapers, radio, this is what they're talking about right now. And how can you provide expertise? I said to all my real estate agents this morning, Redfin, which is a big real estate company, just furloughed 47% of their agents. What does that mean for the market? I have a client who is a president of an HR firm. He has not stopped in the media for the last 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. Every time something happens, what are your work from home policies? Well, it started with, what if there's this thing out there, this coronavirus, that people are scared to travel? What if they have to travel overseas? Can they say no? Then it was, well, what if they don't want to travel in the US? Then it was the work from home policies, and just everything, security, safety, Zoom's been hacked so many times. So it's being on the forefront of what's going on in the news and pitching. The opportunity is tremendous. I have another client's a leadership expert, and I've been feeding her stuff. I can't get it to her fast enough, the stuff she needs to be commenting in the media about. The head of the New York Hospital Association, I guess it's like the CEO and COO, they were, as everything's going on in New York, they're at their beach houses in Florida. It's like, that's not really leading people. So knowing what's going on, being on the pulse of it, and then using those articles or those stories to pitch your story of your expertise.
That's wonderful. So for someone that, I'll use me for an example, for pitching to get in the media, that's not my expertise as far as how to get on the news or to reach, to be in the newspaper. Are those even printed anymore? I don't know.
Yeah,
are they? Okay.
They are.
I mean, I know we print our magazine, but, or to be in others' magazines or to be on the radio shows, like you said, how can it, do you have free tips or downloads for the community to understand, like, what are the steps I need to take? How do I, and this is something that there may be some free advice out there, but I want to stress to everybody, not everything is going to be free right now. So if you're looking to expand your business and grow through this, and you have a really great platform for people, and you've got great advice to be able to give to help people through now and ongoing, how can they get in contact with you or your team, or what you offer, to be able to really research to see if it's right for them, and you guys can see if you're compatible? I know every week I'm on your newsletter and you're giving out free YouTube videos. There's so much content you offer that is free for most
I do. And because you can do this. Where I come in is for people who say, all right, Christina, take all of this and narrow it down for me. What do I need to do specifically for my business? But go, and I'll put it in the comments too. The number 3 steps to PR success. We'll give you some resources. I have a formula, a system. It works. It's creating these newsworthy story ideas, which right now is COVID-19. How do you hook the journalist in, and then how do you find the right journalist? And it's an interesting time right now because no one's in the newsrooms, no one's picking up the phone, which is, I'm all about follow-up. You can leave messages. It's really strange. I would always tell you, don't ever pitch on a Friday or a Monday. Well, there really are no days. You can send it in on a Saturday now if you want. I don't think you're going to offend anybody, because it's not like you're cutting into their personal time, because nobody's leaving their house. Yeah. So it's really strange. But that being said, the opportunity because of that is tremendous, tremendous to actually get in front of them, pretty much 24/7 right now. And, people are turning into workaholics because they're home and they can, and their computers here, and they're not driving. Somebody said to me, what are you doing with your extra day? Like, we have a whole extra day a week now because we're not commuting, we're not traveling. So that was pretty interesting to put it in that perspective. But now is that time where you can have success getting in the media.
Yeah. And this has been repeated over and over and over again on all of these Facebook live chats, that I've had. And I see you as a light leader, and the lamp that you hold is PR, right? We all have our lamps that we
Yep.
hold. And so those that are in the darkness, that aren't understanding how to do this, you do not have to, think that it can't be possible for your company. So tell them a little bit about your story with how you were in a brace, at that one. I remember your story.
Yep.
Tell them a little bit about your story and how you went from doing something completely different with your life to moving into PR. And
Yeah.
you've become an expert based on your experience. I mean, it's in your rearview mirror. It's something that
Right.
you've done yourself.
Right, I did it. That's the thing. I walk this walk every day in my business. I practice everything that I preach. So I'm not just saying, "Oh, you should do this." I'm saying, "No, I do this regularly." But yes, I broke my foot. I had retired. I owned a retail store for almost 10 years. I just got really burned out, and I had a freak accident. Broke my foot. Was in a boot, and we were going to New York City. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to New York with this horrible boot on. So I'm Googling when I'm on the train, medical boot accessories, medical boot fashions, and there was nothing on the market. Excuse me. So I literally invented a fashion line for it, and thinking, oh, I owned a retail store, I know how to sell products. Well, I invented a whole new space in the marketplace. And I had no money. I had hired a lot of bad people. There are bad people out there. Vet everybody that you work with. But I spent a lot of money and didn't get anything. But the bright side of that is it forced me to do it myself. And I found out publicity was free, and it took a lot of trial and error, but I got really good at it. I myself have been in over 1,000 media outlets. With the people I've worked with, we have over 1 billion views. And somebody had me calculate it yesterday. I used to say over 7 figures in sales. It's over $100 million in sales from free publicity. So this is real, and it really, really works. You just have to learn how to do it.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing, if we've got an extra day right now and we've got some extra time, which I know my plan is to go on and learn more about how I can utilize, what you have available to be able to market myself even more, throughout this time, because I know that the opportunities that I'm giving to women in this community, for them to be able to get more exposure, and for them to be able to have a whole nother community of 11 or 12,000 women for them to tap into is huge for their businesses, and they're really great resources for us. So thank you so much for being here today. And what have you found, with your clients right now, other than kind of changing? Yeah, I think of the tip you said that I wanted to make sure that I wrote down was be relevant to what's happening today. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very important. And again, and I'm actually working with a client who has a product, which is a great product, but we've got to stay with magazines. That's it. We really can't do a lot else. I did have an idea for her for television and newspaper, but we really had to stretch on, relating it to Women's Health Week. So right. Be relevant and know the room. Know where you want to be and know what they're doing. For example, I do a regular segment on Good Morning Washington in the 9:00 hour. My hour is gone right now. They replaced it with, it's called the Outdoor Classroom, where they're trying to help parents of elementary school kids. So the meteorologist happened to be a science teacher once upon a time, and he's doing this great show. It actually just got picked up nationally. But I helped them with that. They said, Christina, can you come up with something? And as a writer, I came up with a segment related, if you remember what Mad Libs were back in the day, I used to love those. So I did a whole Mad Libs segment for them.
Right.
So again, being relevant with them, know what they're doing, know what they're covering, know how, if you have to do this on an interview, tell them how to set it up, good lighting, good sound. Those little things will make you stand out.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your tips today and for being with us today and being a personal friend of mine as well. It's just, I get your newsletters every week. And like I said, I click on your interviews and your webinars that you do, and I've learned so much. So I want to thank you for what you bring to the world and your fingerprint on the earth. And thank you for being a light leader at a time when we need more and more of them. So
Thank you.
thank
And
you.
thank you for what you do. And thank you for doing this. I'm so valuable to people.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right, you guys, we're going to see you later. Thank you so much for joining us.